I am here to showcase the most powerful and secretly broken weapons in Borderlands 4. I have personally farmed and experimented with these guns for days, and now I want to do the unthinkable, ranking the top 20 greatest weapons. I'm talking overpowered underbarrels, undiscovered legendaries, one-shot snipers, badass revolvers. We got it all here today. So let's begin with B tier. We got Birts Bees. You always gotta have at least one SMG rocking a flamethrower in your backpack, and this is the grand poobah of all flamethrower SMGs. It's the perfect Borderlands weapon, the epitome of absolute madness combined with pure wacky fun, together to form a beautiful work of art. Style points through the roof on this. Of course, it's cool as hell to shoot out swarm of bees at your enemy, but I was legitimately surprised by not only how strong this weapon is, dealing high damage, but also how far and long it'll track down the enemy. These bees are pissed off, bro. They're following you to the ends of the earth. You are not running away. They sting in your ass. You can farm this fighting the Watershed Gate Sludge Maw in Idolator's Noose. Next, we have the Bugbear. Now, this is the type of gun that has potential to be quite powerful and could be the focus point of an awesome build. This gun will increase its damage and increase splash radius as you shoot the magazine. So a hunter like Rafa that can craft some insanely deadly builds with explosive damage can wield this weapon quite effectively. So yeah, this could be your go-to fire weapon for dealing with flesh enemies if you're rocking a splash damage build, like with Rafa. But something to note, one vital trick to maximizing this bad boy's potential is increasing its magazine size, because a larger magazine provides you with a higher number of buffed bullets. Like, the more bullets you have per magazine, the greater your overall damage output becomes. So here's a couple legendary weapons that apparently only 10% of players have found. So you go to Moxxy's bar, you find Moxxy, you punch her in the fucking face, you'll see her head bob, you see the little head twitch like that, yep, that's how you know you did it right. And then you come over here to her lovely tip jar. So we can give her a little teeny tiny tip, or, oh mama, a big old tip. Gotta give her that big old tip. So you insert your big tip as many times as it takes until Moxxy is satisfied, then she'll reward you with one of two guns. Depending on your performance, if she thinks you're lame, she'll give you the cold shoulder, which is what she gave me most of the time. But if you've done good and made her happy, she'll give you the sweet embrace. I say that because the cold shoulder weapon is garbage, while the sweet embrace is actually quite decent. Comparatively to many other shotguns, this thing's a banger, and it's Maliwan. So if you want a decent shotgun that deals elemental damage, you might want to grab this dude right here. So the Sweet Embrace shotgun is perfect for run and gun type of builds because it shoots 4 bullets in a square formation. From long distance, it's no bueno, but up close, it is brutal. You're like the Virgin Mother Mary giving them a sweet warm hug, embracing them up to heaven. But then again, you got the other cold shoulder, which is actually really freaking cool because it's one of the strongest tracking systems I've ever seen. Its bullets will home in on the closest enemy, even from a far distance. The problem is it's trash, just absolute doo-doo dog water hot trash. The only enemies it's viable against are the flying armored robots, but that's it. So yeah, that goes in the garbage bin. However, the Sweet Embrace is indeed worth it if you want a strong run and gun elemental shotgun. Next, we have the Swarm Grenade. Now, this grenade here is not game-breaking, it's not going to be the foundation of your build or anything, but that's what makes it special. It's flexible, it's versatile, because what happens is you throw this bad boy and it homes in on the nearest enemy. It explodes on contact, then it splits up into 3 baby grenades, and then they all have inbred sex together and give birth to even more baby grenades, all homing in on nearby enemies. Just a fiesta of explosions. So this is easy and consistent damage for crowd control. You simply chuck it into a crowd of children and watch their heads get blown off. This is a dedicated drop by farming Sydney Pointy Legs in Hungering Plain Prospects drill site. However, later on, I came across probably the best legendary grenade I ever found, the artillery fuse. This little dude is the best of both worlds when it comes to grenades. It's got its jumping AoE attack plus the homing missiles attack, combined for the double whammy, baby. I mean, seriously, dude, it just does not get better than that. And it talks to you for some reason. This here is the ultimate high fire rate weapon. I know Harlow can create some pretty badass high fire rate builds, increasing the magazine size, so if your build is working around that, then you might want to go grab this weapon here, the Lucian Flank. I got the shock version, so as you can see, anything with energy shield gets absolutely eviscerated. And plus, it's an assault rifle with good accuracy, so it's got long range. You can get this weapon by farming the Meathead Riders. Hold up, Meathead Riders? What a name, bro. What a freaking name. Like, are you serious? Nah, these devs be trolling us, dude. Nah. Now we're entering A tier. First on the list, the coolest, most powerful, most badass pistol in the game, the Phantom Flame. Yes sir, that's a true magnum right there, baby. I want a real revolver. It says on the stats here a humble 1800 damage per second, but nah, that's funny. Nah, that's funny because this thing can actually dish out 100 times that amount of damage within 1 second, on account of its ability, which allows you to conjure up some cracked out cowboy fingers and shoot off the entire magazine in the blink of an eye. And on top of that, it quickly locks on target when aiming down sight. A lethal combination. All you gotta do is boost your reload speed because the fire rate is already as fast as possible, so you increase the reload speed and you'll be going nutty with this thing. Nutty, I say. It's very fun, very cool, and very deadly, the whole package. Now to get this dropped, you can farm Pengo Bengo. Next we have the Rowans Charge. Now this weapon's not game breaking, although it is indubitably worth crafting a build around if you enjoy these type of weapons. It's essentially the standard Jacob's assault rifle gone Super Saiyan. If you like the sharp critical hit combat style of Jacob's rifles and want a unique badass version of that, then the Rowans Charge is a great choice. Its ability is Stalker, which refunds 2 ammo per critical hit. Now it does have a cooldown of I believe 1 second, so technically you don't have infinite ammo. However, I'm sure you can get it pretty damn close to infinite with the right build setup by increasing the magazine size and whatever. Plus, it has a crank option, which increases the fire rate like crazy while still retaining its sharp accuracy, which takes this weapon up to the next level of badassery. Plus, it comes with the Torgue sticky explosions, which adds a whole extra element to this weapon. So as you can see, this weapon can get pretty freaking nutty and has wide potential for awesome build crafting. Now I showed before a weapon I claimed to be the Jacob's assault rifle gone Super Saiyan, right? Well, this here is simply the classic Jacob's rifle on steroids. It's not as fancy, not as elaborate, but hella strong and hella beefy. While aiming down sight, its fire rate slows down, but it literally doubles in damage. And that's insane when you're popping critical hits, especially combined with a beastly critical damage multiplier. If you like the hard-hitting Jacob's weapons, this is perfect. It's a dedicated drop from the driller hole near Queen's Cradle. Now, of course, this video can't be all about just showcasing legendary weapons. I've heard many people speak about the best underbarrels you should look out for, grenade launchers and whatnot. However, I've seen nobody mention the single greatest underbarrel, the Vial Launcher. Yes, sir, it deals decent damage. However, it's one of the most valuable items for melting bosses because of its additional effect they added. For no apparent reason, it'll increase all damage by 30%, making it extremely valuable for any and every type of build. You're shooting out doo-doo that's so deadly, and they be choking so hard on your nasty ass farts that they actually start taking increased damage. I mean, imagine if like you and a friend, 2 or 3 of y'all, use this same effect. You got 30, 60, 90% increased damage on that boss. I've only seen this on Jacob's pistols, and I've only seen it as corrosive damage, so keep your eyes peeled for this attachment on a pistol. Now, one insane strategy I've found to melt through boss shields is to combine this vial launcher with another underbarrel, the shock tasers. Now, the shock taser has potential to be absurdly effective. See, the trick is you must check for the number of tasers. Firing off a single taser versus firing 3 or 4 tasers together is obviously a drastic difference. Like, check this. It's dealing almost 1500 damage per second, right? But you got 3 of them or 4 of them. So now that's almost 4500 damage per second. Plus, if you inflict the shock status effect, that's an additional 2000 damage per second. Plus, that's just the base damage number. Of course, that's not even considering the increased damage you deal against shield types or any extra buffs your build has. So yeah, simply shooting out a few tasers can quite easily get crazy strong. And don't stop with just one. I mean, shit, if you're fighting a pure shock type boss, you can have 2 of them bad boys. Stick freaking half a dozen tasers on the dude at once and shock him to hell. Usually you find these tasers on fluty SMGs, so get yourself an SMG with 3 or 4 diabolical tasers and melt down enemy shields. You'll be cooking, baby, you'll be cooking. Up next, we have the darkbeast. Now, you always need at least one solid and dependable corrosive weapon in your bag, right? Well, this is it, baby, this is it. The epitome of all sharp, venomous SMGs. Parlay. Bullets pierce enemies and have a 5% chance to explode, dealing a chunk of damage. Now, 5% isn't much. To be honest, it could be higher. However, the fact that it pierces through enemies makes it a fantastic run-and-gun type of weapon. Against groups of enemies, it's good crowd control, schmoving around, mowing down hordes of scrubs. So although it's not super exciting or anything crazy, it's a very cool and solid all-rounder that can reliably get the job done against any armor type enemies. If you want the darkbeast, you can farm the auger mine named Timid Kyle's Neglected Butthole in the coastal bonescape. The Tinged Inkling. So this here is apparently an homage to Splatoon, that game where you can battle each other by tossing paint on the ground, but it's actually quite effective because it lasts for a decent amount of time. You literally paint the ground with corrosion or shock or radiation and melt down enemies. Plus, it's cool, it gets some style points. This has a good chance of dropping from the Division bunker in Terminus range. We are now entering God tier. Give her the old Wombo combo, you know what I'm saying? This thing is so awesome and feels so effective because it typically comes with any variant of elemental damage, right? Like mine is cryo, which is not too shabby, but then the rockets are kinetic damage, and firing both kinetic plus an elemental damage together is extremely effective when you're fighting multiple varying enemies, because whatever your particular element is not strong against, boom, you got the kinetic damage there to take care of it. So for example, here the rockets using kinetic damage are able to take care of enemy shields, and then my cryo bullets finish off their armor. It's a beautiful synergy. The Wombo combo is accurate, versatile, feels great to use, just an all-around top tier assault rifle. Although one annoying complication I found is that from my testing, the Vladof enhancements don't buff the explosives. I mean, it's a Vladof weapon shooting rockets from its underbarrel, and yet the enhancements that buffs Vladof underbarrels does not seem to benefit this. Is this an oversight? Is it a bug? So I don't know, what do y'all think? Comment if you have an opinion or an answer for this. But you can easily farm this weapon at the Saw's Clench drill site up north in the ruined Sumplands. The Linebacker shotgun, full coverage. Put me in, coach, put me in.
I'm ready to go in, coach. Just give me a chance.
So, if you want that blow the shit out of everything type of build, then this is the perfect weapon. They call it bouncing projectiles, but let's be real. This is a damn carpet bomb. This is a wave of lava coming at you. You can either shoot it at the ground to produce a tsunami of death, or shoot it upwards at walls and objects to bounce around. The projectiles will increase in damage and radius with every bounce, and depending on the environment, you can get up to 3 3, 4, 5 bounces per shot. So obviously anybody that's acquainted with splash damage and splash radius type of builds are salivating right now, because you can easily buff this weapon. Use buffs like the head ringer enhancement for Torg boosting 25% damage and 100% radius. Also the airstrike set bonus for an additional buff to splash damage and radius. It has potential to be deadly against single large boss fights or against groups of enemies and crowd control. The dedicated drop for this shotgun is Sky Spanner Crotch, my bad. In certain angles of light, this dude looks like a flying wiener, so I got crotch in my head. Next we have a sniper. I randomly found this sniper early in the game and I loved it. The Borstal Ballista. Its skill is propagation with no definition of what it does. Awesome. You love to see it, man. You love to see it. Regardless, you can essentially perceive why it's special by looking at the bullets. Every shot fires off a swirly twirly of death, and that extra swirl can register as a critical hit, meaning this sniper can land critical hit headshots extremely easy. Even a 6-year-old child playing on a controller with Palpatine fingers can land critical hits with this sniper. Plus, of course, it's Jacobs, so all those critical hits are bouncing off and striking other enemies. So it's just a beautiful Jacobs sniper rifle. Freaking powerful, easy to use, fun. I mean, yo, over 800 damage for a level 26 weapon? Like, at the time, that was freaking gnarly, dude. It was still one-shotting scrubs even after I leveled up many times. Certainly one of the strongest snipers in the game. However, I've heard that the Timekeeper end boss is the one to farm if you want this drop. Now, you may have seen this gun before, the Kaoson SMG, but it seems like not everyone truly understands why it can be so powerful. Well, it's quite simple, right? It fires 2 bullets at once. Compare it to the Birts Bs, a very similar SMG. Both deal around 400 damage per bullet. However, the Kaoson has double the damage per second because it's firing double the bullets. So it has potential for an insanely high damage per second, especially if you focus on explosive and splash damage. As I said before, when talking about the explosive assault rifle, Rafa is the king of splash and explosive damage, right? So this is 100% a Rafa designed weapon. You can obtain the Kaoson by farming the Guardian Origo Vault in the low keys area. Now here we have the Hellwalker, and this is essentially the buckshot version of the hot Slugger, and that sounds like it could be valuable, but it's not. It's real. I mean, I'm gonna tell y'all right now, this gun is not worth it in my opinion. I mean, it's got style points for sure, I'll admit that, but I wouldn't even have this in God tier section. However, I wanted it here so I could transition right from this into the true God tier shotgun, the hot Slugger, which is up next. So yeah, the hot Slugger shotty. Yes sir, this is a real beefy boy. It's mostly obvious why this weapon is freaking awesome, but one reason why the hot Slugger is so good, I believe, because it only has 1 bullet. It's easier to connect the damage. It's always the full damage. You always get the full banger because all its damage comes with 1 bullet. You can farm the hot Slugger fighting Callus. Now listen, I understand it's kinda goofy to be ranking guns in Borderlands, considering different weapons can be powerful using different builds, people have their own personal preferences and all that, but I still think this video can be valuable and entertaining for y'all by simply showcasing all these unique weapons. But now it's your turn, my fellow jabronis. Please comment any thoughts or opinions you have. Did I miss any awesome guns that you know of? Please share it with us down below. And of course, drop a fat like on that like button if you made it this far, and subscribe for more awesome content. I thank you very much for watching. I truly appreciate you, and I'll talk to you later. Stay golden.